I'm currently reviewing everything on TV at the minute, and it's up to you to decide which shows I continue watching and which ones I give up on. Currently, Slow Horses is battling 3 Pines for the Thursday night slot on the channel. So leave a comment below over which one you believe should win, and I'll continue reviewing one show and stop reviewing the other. Maybe, or do them both, I don't know. I'm going to be talking about the first 2 episodes of Slow Horses Season 2 today. And we're going to talk a bit about what cicada means. We'll do that about halfway through, because that word comes up quite a bit in these episodes. But before we do that, please consider leaving a like and subscribing. You can always unsubscribe at a later date if you don't like what I'm posting. Right then, anyway, showtime.
It's showtime, folks.
We begin the episode by following Phil Davis as he follows someone for some unknown reason. We don't know yet. I love Phil Davis, so I'm gutted that they killed off his character before the opening titles. Then someone takes a folder out of a file and rubs it in by making a note about how he died. Gutted. Poundland Barry Allen is back as the IT guy. He really irritates me, this guy, but we're stuck with him. Gary Oldman investigates the death of Phil Davis by lying and claiming that he's his brother. He manages to get his way onto the bus where he died, and he finds a phone there, which could be used as evidence. There's one message on it: cicada. What could it mean? Meanwhile, River is interviewing with what I presume is another branch of MI5, based on what they know. He's been desperate to get out of Slough House, the house where MI5 seem to dump people he don't like, since Season 1, and it doesn't seem like he's any closer. The 2 people whose names I didn't bother to learn from Season 1, they didn't bother giving them memorable names, okay, and they don't really repeat them. They're put on special assignments and thus can't do all the menial tasks for Gary Oldman's character. Maybe that will mean they actually do something interesting this season. Enough for me to bother learning their names, maybe? Prince Philip plays River's granddad. He used to be quite high up in MI5, but now he just does gardening. Now let's talk about the new girl, Shirley. She's pretty much there to fill Olivia Cook's role. She's playing a different character, but she fills the same role. She steals a security guard's keycard in the same way that Olivia Cook stole a USB in episode 1. She really is only there to do what Olivia Cook is too busy to do, isn't she? Too bad she can't replace her charm. See, I reckon people are gonna kick off about me saying that, because apparently she's a great character in the book. Should I read the books? Let me know in the comments whether or not they're worth a read. I'm currently reading Fire and Blood, which Olivia Cook is in the TV adaptation of, so I don't know, it could be a good transition when I'm finished. River figures out that Phil Davis was killed by being touched by a poison, like how the Russians take people out. Phil Davis may very well have been a KGB sleeper agent. Right, it's time we talked about the message that was on Phil Davis's phone. Cicada. This word came up in Season 1 as well, and it basically refers to KGB sleeper agents that are living all around the UK. Now, they got the nickname cicada after the insect, which has a particular habit of staying hidden underground for a long period of time. Around the time of the fall of the Berlin Wall, there had been a scare among the MI5 that these sleeper agents, referred to as cicadas, were real, and he was in English society hiding, led by a master controller spy of the KGB named Alexander Popov. However, after some time and probably a bit of investigation, MI5 concluded that Alexander Popov wasn't real, and he was just made up to cause some panic. And they also believed that cicadas were also a myth. But in this show, it's very much real. Right then, now that you know what cicada is, let's move on to episode 2. Gary Oldman goes to talk to an old Russian friend in the hope of learning more about cicada, because he didn't watch this recap video. Leave a like while you're here. Maybe it's only because she's replacing the brilliantly charming Olivia Cook, but man is it difficult to like Shirley. She isn't half dull, isn't she? Not fun at all. Olivia Cook brought such a spark to the role, and Shirley's character is just boring. It's a shame, really. But again, I hear she's great in the book, so I'll reserve judgment. The guy whose name we still haven't learned has a meeting with two tough blokes and then follows them to somewhere in the most obvious way possible. Dude, you're not being discreet. You were just in that meeting with them. They'll recognize you. You're in the middle of broad daylight. Gary Oldman meets up with Diana for the first time this season and has a super discreet "we're not spies" meeting. It's not as ridiculous as the one that Diana had in season 1. I'll give them that credit, but it's still quite obvious what they're doing. I've got to be honest with you. Episode 2 is really slow. I know it's called Slow Horses, but I didn't think they were talking about the pacing. Half of it is dedicated to River listening to a taxi driver telling him a fake story before he attacks him in broad daylight and then demands him to tell him the truth. I genuinely couldn't believe it. I've been sat here for 20 minutes watching River slowly go across the street to a cash machine, chatting with Poundland Barry Allen about it, listening to a story only for it to be revealed to be a load of rubbish. What a waste of time. Basically what he's been trying to do is River is trying to find the fella who poisoned Phil Davis with poison in the beginning of the first episode. And after all that rubbish, he finds that the taxi driver drove the bald guy, the poisoner, the killer, to an airfield. Finally, we're getting somewhere. I can't quite stress enough how boring I found these two characters, by the way. Whatever the names are, these two here. I still don't know their names. They didn't bother saying them in this episode either, so they get an award for the most dull characters in the show. I prefer Shirley to these two. Oh, look, Chris Hemsworth. He's on this, on an advertisement by the side of the road. Let's play a quick game of 6 Degrees of Separation. You can do it in 2, I believe. Gary Oldman was in Lennon and McCartney with Nick Frost, who was in Snow White and the Huntsman with Chris Hemsworth. It would have been easier had it been his brother, because Liam Hemsworth was in Paranoia with Gary Oldman a few years ago. That was a fun game, wasn't it? Leave a like if you had fun. God, you can tell how bored I am watching this show, can't you? The episode ends with the Russian guy holding a gun up to the guy whose name we haven't bothered to learn because the show doesn't say it. Nobody says his name, and I'm not looking her up. This is the show's fault. I've watched 2 episodes and they've not said his name once. How am I meant to learn it? You know what, overall, I'm quite disappointed in that. What did you think of these 2 episodes? I really enjoyed season 1 as well. Right, anyway, while you're here, please consider leaving a like and subscribing. You can always unsubscribe at a late date if you don't like what I'm posting. Do you want me to talk about episode 3? All you need to do is ask in the comments below. And you know what? Tell me what these 2 characters' names are, because I don't know. Right, anyway, I'm gonna let you go. Watch these videos while you're here. Alright, bye.